The Daily News Online presents Inside High School Sports. Brought to you by Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. With your host, Alex Brasky and Nate Ryder.
Hello everybody and welcome to yet another episode of Inside High School Sports. My name's Alex Brasky alongside Nate Ryder of the Batavia Daily News. First and foremost, we'd like to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. Of course, at TVFCU, we know members love our low loan rates and our low account fees, but our expert staff is really what everybody raves about. If you are not a member, consider joining and learn why our TVFCU members are considered friends, family, and fans. New members are always welcome. Stop in at 10 Jefferson Square, that's behind Wendy's in Batavia. Nate, a lot of unfortunate news in recent times surrounding high school sports and beyond. Obviously, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, as it's scientifically known, wreaking havoc across the sports landscape and across the world. Cancellations in the professional sports, collegiate sports, and postponements here locally with the New York State Winter Championships. Nate, it's got to be a tough thing for these kids who are still involved in these Winter Championships. I mean, you work your whole life to reach this point of the postseason, but at the same time, you understand why these steps need to be taken.
Yeah, yesterday was kind of an eerie day. I got up, looking to watch a little ACC tournament action, and things kind of start unfolding. And once you see all those balls drop and all the major leagues and, college basketball and everything, New York State and I think a lot of states across the country didn't really have much of a choice at that point. You kind of got to follow suit. You don't want to be, quote unquote, ground zero for some major spread of this thing. So, with the chances of something happening even being slim, they still had to do it. And yeah, you definitely feel for the seniors on some of these teams. This is their last shot. A lot of them won't play college or won't play sports even in college. So, you get a couple of these kids that are really looking forward to it. We had some teams that were getting ready to play. And, as of now, we don't know what's going to happen. They have said there's a slight chance that could just be postponed and moved up. And if that's the case, each team will get a week to prepare for the game. But none of that is even close to being decided yet.
Yes, and just as recently as about a half hour ago, the New York State Public High School Athletic Association posted a link to their website which explains a little bit more descriptively what their indefinite postponement of the Winter Championships means, and just to let everybody know that spring sports are still ongoing with the discretion of the individual school district. So if your school district is still remaining open, extracurricular activities remain open, then your spring sports will continue just as they would in a normal situation. But obviously the biggest effect is the indefinite postponement of those Winter Championships. And it just says here that Dr. Robert Zayas, the executive director of NIFSA, as it's shortly known, is just monitoring the situation. And like Nate said, there's still a chance that these Winter Championships continue, maybe a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. But nonetheless, there will be a week grace period in between the announcement if there is a continuance of these championships, and those teams would be able to prepare. But I spoke with a local athletic director today, and although he understands that this is a unique situation, that Winter Championships postponement looming really makes it difficult for spring sports, because these kids who are involved in multiple sports, how do you fully dive in when you know that there's still a chance? Do you continue to practice with your winter sports team here and there? It's just a difficult situation all around, and I think something that's unprecedented, and I don't think we'll see again for quite some time.
No, and like you said, the best thing is they're monitoring it. Rather than make a rash decision, you kind of, at this point, the way everything went down yesterday, you really just have to sit back and let something kind of figure itself out here. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, that's another thing. You see some indefinite postponements of things, and Major League Baseball's one. They just push theirs back a couple weeks. So maybe it's a little different with something that's outside. Maybe it's not as contagious outside. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but
we never put that on you, Nate.
No. I took a biology course in college, and I failed miserably. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It does, for a lot of these kids, especially in these small schools like we cover with Elba and Pembroke and Caledonia and even Dansville, a lot of these kids, you're right, do play 3 sports a year, and they're going to, you're right. Do they practice basketball? Do they still, meet? Are they allowed to still meet to practice? Do they go and practice baseball or softball? And it is a weird situation, and hopefully sooner rather than later, some final clarification will come out so, everybody can kind of move on rather than be in this state of limbo.
And by all accounts, it seems like this state of limbo will continue for the time being. And I just want to read a short statement from Dr. Robert Zayas, the executive director. He says, "One thing that I've learned in the past 72 hours is not to attempt to predict what will occur with this rapidly developing situation. As information becomes available, decisions will be made in the best interest of student athletes that we serve." So it's obviously, like he said, a rapidly evolving situation. We'll continue to monitor it and provide you with the information on our various social media outlets as well as our website, thedailyNewsOnline.com.
And it obviously got more out of hand in this country faster than I think anybody expected it to, especially with what transpired in the NBA. And, when they shut down, it was Wednesday night, I believe, and everything just really snowballed after that. And I don't think anybody expected such a rapid descent of everything happening. From what I read the New York Times, if you believe that stuff, I do, but some people don't. China's just now starting to get back to normalcy a little bit.
But they were at their peak quite a while ago.
Yeah, so you can kind of get somewhat of a timeline. Granted, every country's different in the way they do things. But hopefully, like I said, for these kids, we can figure something out either way, so everybody can just move forward.
Yeah, and moving forward in our show tonight, getting to much lighter events and lighter items on the docket. First of all, the new Vendetta Stadium in Batavia is working wonders for the Blue Devils already. The baseball and softball teams, first day of practice, were able to get out there, take an infield, outfield, take ground balls, fly balls, run around on the turf. And I spoke with head coach Rick Saunders of the baseball team and head coach Jim Fazio of the softball team. And Coach Rick Saunders said it might be his first time ever, and he's a longtime head coach, that they've been out on the first day. And Coach Fazio said it's the best first day that he's ever had. So just quite an experience for those kids. And already that multi-sport facility is proving to be just that and already working wonders for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt that it was 65 or 70 degrees on Monday, but yeah, you're right. Most schools don't have that opportunity. Even if they have turf fields, a lot of them don't take advantage of it, and it's great that Batavia was able to get out there. And like you said, that place is huge. They had room for everybody to kind of do their thing out there.
And both teams were practicing at the same time, the baseball and the softball, one at one end, one at the other. So
yeah, and it's great to see them be able to get out there and use it, and great for those coaches to be thinking ahead, like, okay, it's going to be nice. Let's get out there and get some work done, because obviously both those teams want to get out, and their kids are done with winter sports, so hey, let's move on to the next thing and see what we can do.
And one of the common themes throughout my conversations with both coaches was hit the ground running. I think both of their teams are going to be able to do that a little bit quicker than they've been able to in years past. But boy, this turf field's got to make a big difference for you guys.
There's no doubt about it. It proves truly that this is a multi-sport complex. Probably the first day, usually, that since I've been coaching, you're either lucky if you're in the parking lot, and sometimes our first day outside is when we went to Florida last week of March or April.
Alex, this is probably the best first day we've ever had. Coming outside on the brand new turf here at Vendetta, it just gives us a head start. Just great to be outside.
So how much do you think that's going to affect your preparation early in the season? You think you're probably going to be able to hit the ground running a little bit better?
Well, I think the biggest thing is going to be for the outfielders, because our outfielders never get any fly balls in situations of throwing the bases, and to be able to get out here and actually put a diamond out, getting fly balls this early in the season. I said usually they're out the second week and be the third week in some stuff in the parking lot. This is going to be huge for them.
Now, speaking of that head start, kind of elaborate on that. How do you expect that this will translate to your girls hitting the ground running to start the regular season?
Well, I think it's going to start us off with a lot of enthusiasm. I think the girls are psyched to be out here. It's going to make them work harder and, hopefully look forward to the season.
Now, how excited were the kids to be out here? I'm sure, one of the first nice days of the early spring. How excited were they to be out here today?
Well, I think they're really excited about it. You could tell as soon as they got out here, they were doing their warm-ups and playing catch, and you just had a little extra chat, a little extra, hopping their steps and all that kind of stuff. The sun's shining. This never happened, so it's pretty good so far.
What was the level of excitement from the girls to be out here today?
How things went during practice today, I think they were, like I said, very enthusiastic. They seemed to want to be out here. Their attitudes and their coachability was just outstanding. I had a lot of fun coaching them, and I'm sure and I'm hoping that they had a lot of fun as well.
We'd like to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. There is not a better time to leap into a new home or spruce up your current home. TVFCU is waiving the application fee for all mortgages and home improvement loans. This offer ends March 31st. Rates change weekly. Call 585-343-5627 to schedule your appointment and let the leaping and sprucing begin. So finally, Nate, we had Brock Conaway from Perry, the state wrestling champ, on last week's show, I believe. Another Perry state champ that we will mention quickly, Rachel Paddock, who we had earlier this season. She became Section 5's first ever state champion in the sport of riflery. So congratulations to Rachel. And another state champion, Dansville's first ever state swimming champion, Aiden Kreiley. Just a great athlete. He's really put forth the work, and he's capped off his great career with that state championship. It's got to be a great feeling for him.
Yeah, he's a kid who's been doing it forever, and he's been good forever. And when you get that good, people across, not just in Section 5, people across the state know who you are. When you're lining up to, get out there and get in the pool, they know exactly who this kid is. And likely he probably knows who some of the other ones are. And for him to come away with the LCA's first ever, not just Dansville's, the whole conference's first ever swimming state title is beyond, it's beyond something you can really comprehend considering how long the LCA has been around. And this is a kid going D1 for swimming, and he's
Louisville, I believe.
I believe, yes, and he's the real deal in the pool. And if you get the chance to watch some of the videos we've had of him, you should really check it out. He's an impressive swimmer, and from what Chris tells me, he's a really great kid too. He always has been. He's kind of a humble kid, and good for him, and good for that program, and good for the school.
Yeah, last year, I believe, me and Chris and I should say, went out to Dansville High School, and we spoke with Aiden and Coach Chris Everett. And you're right, just a great kid, and Coach Everett spoke highly of him, and his talent has spoken for itself. But to hear others speak highly of him makes you really get the whole experience with him, and I think that's why he's going to become a Division I athlete.
Aiden won the 100 breaststroke New York State championships last week. Let's go through the whole moment there from when you got there. You said you were gonna go there with no pressure on you, just having fun. Just take me through the whole weekend.
Yeah, walking into the meet, being the first seed, it's definitely a little bit of pressure that was on my shoulders, but I knew that time was from January. Everybody else's times were from the tapered sectionals in February, so I had something to look forward to. And most importantly, I was really close with a lot of the guys that are on the state team this year, so to be able to spend my last New York State meet with a lot of these guys I've known for such a long time, it really meant a lot to me. And this is probably the most fun I've ever had at a state meet in my entire life. That's a moment I've been thinking about for the last 5 years. kid named Zach Shine from Geneseo. We talked a lot when I was in 8th grade. He was a senior that year. And I told him, I said, I promise you I'll be a state champion in 55 seconds my senior year. And to finally touch and have that moment, come true, to look over to my Section 5 teammates and see them all cheering for me, it was probably one of the best moments of my entire life. It was definitely a huge confidence booster to know that all you got to do is be in a good mindset and you can swim as fast as you want, whether your training has been good or not.
Well, I'm extremely proud of Aiden. Aiden and I have a good relationship. He's really a student athlete that I expect a lot of our students to look up to. He deserves all this praise because of the time and effort that he's put in. He doesn't know this yet, but I'm hoping that at our end of the season sports banquet that he can kind of speak to all of our athletes about what it took to get to this level. It's not just about being gifted, but the things that he's done behind the scenes to be a state champion.
All right, Nate, not to drag the show back down, but one of the teams affected by the postponement of the winter championships has been the Elba girls basketball team, 4-time defending sectional champion, looking to advance past that Far West regional round, which they are currently in limbo in right now. So it's really got to be a disappointment for them. But prior to this announcement, you were at their last game and you saw them defeat a Cinderella Pavilion team who really put up quite a fight, not only in their sectional final, but in that game against Elba.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. They had played earlier in the season. I didn't even notice that when I had looked at the schedule, and Elba beat them by 18 or 20. Wow. But, Coach Redband said that they knew they were improved and they were a lot better than they were then. And, Elba was down 7 or 8 early, used a big 18-0 run, took a lead, never trailed after that, but never could pull away either. That Pavilion team's going to be tough with those two freshmen, with Kingsley and Zinkovich. They're going to be tough for a number of years to come, but you're right. Elba, for the 4th year in a row, wins the title. This is her third trip in a row to the Far West Regionals. The first time 4 years ago they lost to Notre Dame in the crossover. And the last 2 years, they got beaten by a Franklinville team that got moved up to Class C. Well, it wasn't going to be any easier, and if they do get to play, they're going to get a tough test in Panama, who is just one of the top Class D teams you'll find around. But they were looking forward to the challenge. They knew they were going to be undersized, and they were going to have to shoot the lights out, and they were going to have to use their athleticism against a very athletic team. And I was texting with Coach Redband today, and they're disappointed at the moment that they're not getting that shot because these girls have been here, they've done this part, they want to make that extra step.
Yeah, and like I said, Nate spoke with Coach Redband and a couple of his girls following their most recent wins.
Well, I think we all trust each other. Like if someone misses a couple in a row, I know they're gonna make the next one. I don't get mad at other people for shooting a couple. If you don't shoot, you're not gonna make it. So you gotta get on somehow.
What's this feeling like for you guys?
It's crazy. I love it. Going to regionals 2 years in a row is something that not every team gets to do. And Elba is so special that we get to do that, and I love being on a team like this.
For Panama, like we talked about, they're big, they're athletic. What do you got to do to pull this one out?
Well, we got to defend and rebound. I think same as today. We got to defend and rebound, get some shots. We have some size, so we got to limit them to one shot. I think that's going to be probably a big part of the goal, and probably most teams that play them. If they're going to miss, let's make sure they miss just the one and don't give them extra chances.
At Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union, we have members of all types. From Blue Devils to Knights to Dragons and Leprechauns, we have solutions for all their financial needs. We not only provide checking and savings accounts, but also loans for vehicles and student loans. Our members also enjoy exclusive benefits through our scorecard rewards programs. To become a member, you can stop by our office in downtown Batavia or give us a call. Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union, local, personal, and owned by members.
All right, that's just about it for this week's show. Nate, the coronavirus is definitely something that's brought down the sports spirit, I would say, of our community and honestly throughout the country. But hope is not lost. Spring sports still in full swing in terms of around here as far as when we're producing this show. We haven't heard any different.
Yeah, I believe the only thing I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, is they're not going to allow teams to take trips for, spring training. I don't know if that's been finalized yet. I know it was being talked about. But other than that, like you said before, it's up to the individual school's discretion on on whether or not they want to, allow kids to keep going. And I think most of them are going to let them go.
And it makes sense to cancel those trips because that's really what spread something like this, either the large gatherings or going place to place and carrying it that way.
Yeah,
but
a lot of cheap flights, though.
Yeah, tempting to say the least.
It is.
But then again, when health's involved, I think that really rises above everything in terms of importance. But we're trying to keep our spirits up. It's definitely difficult for us too. We love covering this stuff, and heck, that's our job. So it's definitely something that we are paying close attention to. I'm sure those of you watching are paying close attention to it, and we're just remaining hopeful and trying not to panic and listening to those smarter than us and their advice and trying to heed that as best we can. And I mean, I can't repeat it enough, just trying to remain hopeful.
Yeah, and I was really looking forward to Caledonia after their thrilling win the other night over Lions. And getting that program getting that far for the first time since 1979, and with that group, with a lot of seniors, you really feel bad for them. If they in fact don't get a shot to keep moving forward, they were going to get middle early college. It was a good team out of Buffalo, but definitely not unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we feel bad for Elba, we feel bad for Pembroke, 2 straight sectional titles, and now getting a chance to, get farther than I think any Pembroke team has before. And right now they're in limbo. So
the Dansville girls also back-to-back champions.
Dansville girls in Class B. So yeah, it's one of those things. We're fine. You and I, we're not going to get it. At least I don't think we're going to. And
I hope not.
And a lot of
let's knock on wood for that. We don't want another Rudy Gobert situation.
And a lot of these people aren't going to get it, but you worry about the ones who do, and then you feel, like I said, you feel bad for the kids, especially the seniors who aren't going to get that chance or may not get that chance to keep playing.
So we are remaining hopeful, and we do thank you for joining us for another episode of Inside High School Sports, brought to you by the Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.